So I'm Tanya, and I am a finance and strategy and governance professional. I currently work in the philanthropic funding space. I work for a fund that's in the trust-based philanthropic funding. I have been in finance and governance all my life, so corporate finance. I was in venture capital at some point. I've worked in a myriad of industries. Yes, and I'm loving what I'm doing right now. Okay, so philanthropic funding is basically grant making. And in our organization, we specifically work with NGOs and social enterprises that are across different verticals, specifically focusing on livelihoods, which is basically organizations that work with communities to help them increase their household incomes. But philanthropy just basically means grant making, where our return is a return on impact and not necessarily a return on investment, like in venture capital or in investment banking. Oh wow, I mean, they are like night and day. The for-profit space is basically ruled by the bottom line, which is profitability. And what I'd say about the bottom line in the not-for-profit space and in the philanthropic space is all about impact in the lives of the individuals in the communities that we work with. But a lot of differences, but at the same time, a lot of similarities. But I think at the end of the day, both models are creating shared prosperity, whether they are driven by a return to the shareholders, which is what happens in the corporate side, vis-a-vis a return on the lives of the individuals, which is what we do in the philanthropic side. How we can accelerate Nairobi's leadership. So I think in the context of the accelerator, the thing we keep coming back to is that there are demographics that have completely been left out of the funding space, whether it's because they have working capital needs or whether they have capex needs. Basically, they need to raise some sort of finance. And if we can find a way to channel that, then we are inevitably also building generational wealth, because these businesses are going to be able. One of the people in the audience that I was sitting across to has run a business for over about 25 years, and that basically means that they've created a lot of shared prosperity for staff, for the people who have worked with him, for his co-founders. I think if we find a way to channel successfully capital into these businesses, whatever form or shape that capital is in, we're going to be able to hit many birds with one stone. But it's, again, as I said, it's a lot of things to take into consideration. But if you asked me the biggest need, from whether it's a generational wealth perspective or a business building or a leadership perspective, it's not even the thought leadership that is going to be necessary. It's finding capital that responds to the needs on the ground and channeling it. So not just funding fintechs, because fintechs are really like the newish kid on the block over the past couple of years, and venture capitalists have seen success with regards to the patterns of funding, so they keep funding fintechs. It's also funding businesses that don't fall either in or adjacent to the fintech vertical. So channeling money to where it's needed and where it can have the most impact and where it can create the most ripple effect. I would say that this is, so someone said there's a myriad of these conversations happening in different places. I'd be really keen to see how we are differentiating this conversation, not necessarily because we want to be unique or reinvent something, but I'd love to get to the point where we're able to identify tangible outcomes, because then it's easier to measure how quickly we're getting to those outcomes. And again, like the question that we've been asking, what does success look like for this Nairobi Accelerator? So that's what I'd say I am looking forward to, and that's probably the feedback that I'd give.